Good morning and welcome to our assembly for today. It's Friday and it's the end of our week when we've been talking about harvest. So lots of really important things about being grateful for all of the food that we've got and having the right food and the right balanced diet. And today we're going to have a think about where some of our food comes from. So we're going to start off with one of my favorite bits of food, not just because you can do this and look happy. So I love a banana, really, really tasty. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about where a banana actually comes from, because sometimes we have these foods and they're in our house or they're in our lunchbox or whatever, and we don't actually think about where they come from. So our global goals that we're going to consider today: there's no poverty, making sure that everybody has enough money. There's zero hunger, making sure that we've all got food to eat. There's good health and well-being, because that links really, really well with zero hunger. If we've got no hunger, then we've got the right food and we're fit and healthy and well. And responsible consumption and production. So that means that we are making sure that we're farming in the right way, that we're growing the crops, growing the fruits and vegetables in the right way, and we're using the right amounts of these things. And people who make it for us, who grow the crops, who look after the animals in the farms, get the right amount of money. So let's have a look at what we're talking about today. Now, I wonder if anybody has seen this sign around when they've been shopping. It means Fairtrade. And that means that the people who grow the crops for us, who make the things, who grow coffee beans or the cocoa beans for chocolate or grow the bananas, get the right amount of money for the things that they've got. So let's have a look. There's a quote from the Bible that says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's really important. That's not your neighbor isn't necessarily the person who is living in the house next to you. They might not be the person who is sat next to you at the table, but it can be somebody else around the world. And our neighbors, as part of a global community, are all the other people around the world, and we've got to treat other people the way that we want to be treated. That's what this quote from the Bible means. It doesn't mean that we've got to give somebody a hug or a kiss. It means that we've got to show other people around the world the same sort of respect as we want to be treated. Now, if you put loads of effort into doing your work and you're really, really pleased with it, and your teacher says to you, well, it's kind of okay, but you're really proud of it, you'd be disappointed. It's the same as the farmer who grows these bananas. I put loads of time and effort into growing the bananas, and then if they don't get given the right amount of money in the shops, then they're not going to feel valued and they're going to be disappointed. So they've put loads of effort in. We want to say thank you for growing this food. We're going to pay you the right amount of money. So when you buy a banana, or when mum or dad or whoever buys a banana, who shares the money that you pay? Now, did you know that in the UK we spend over £550 million on bananas in a year? It's a lot of money, £550 million on bananas. So if we're spending all of that money on bananas, is it the banana farmer that gets all of that money? What do you think? Who gets all of that money from the 550 million? Is it the person that grows it? Tell your partner, tell the person you're sitting next to. Who do you think it is? So, despite all of their hard work, a lot of banana farmers don't earn much money at all because they're not paid a fair price for their bananas. And most of the money we spend on bananas doesn't actually go to the farmers. So let's have a look at who gets that money. So this is the banana farmer, the person who grows the banana trees and picks the bananas. And this chap's name is Fancho. And there was a campaign run by Fairtrade to make banana farming fair called Stick with Fancho a couple of years ago. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Fancho. And Fancho is from Colombia. He grows the bananas. And first of all, he plants the seeds. And after about 6 months, a bunch of bananas begins to grow. And he has to look after the banana plants every day, weed and water them so they grow properly. Sometimes they get diseases or they could be destroyed by a storm. And after 9 months, they're ready to be harvested. So they cut down with a sharp knife and they get carried to the processing building where they're washed, dipped in a special liquid that protects the top of the banana. That's that bit there, so it doesn't go rotten, stops it going moldy. and they dry on a special drying rack so they don't get bruised, and then they're labelled and boxed and delivered to the exporter. Now that's a lot of hard work. Fancho definitely deserves lots of money, and there's not a lot of it to go around. So Fancho has worked really hard. He's had to risk storms and diseases. Let's have a look at who else needs some money for it. The exporter. The exporter is the person who takes the bananas from Fancho's farm to the port, inspects them, checks they're okay, and loads them into the containers. So I think who's done the most work so far? Is it Fancho? Is it the exporter? Okay, have a think. And the exporter has to pay lots of people to drive lorries, carry the bananas, and still needs to make some money. The importer. Now, the importer buys the bananas when they're on the container ship, and they pay to transport them, and they travel thousands of miles. Remember, Fancho lives in Colombia. That's on the other side of the world in South America. It's really expensive, so he needs to cover his costs. She needs to cover her costs, and obviously they need to make some kind of profit as well. Okay. Then we've got the ripener. So the bananas in the pictures you can see are green, and it takes a long while. You can see that this banana is still a little bit green. I maybe need to give it a little bit another day or so before I eat it. And the bananas arrive in the UK, and they're stored until they're ripe, until they turn yellow. And the ripener needs to cover the cost of storing them and also make some profit for their business. And then finally, we've got the shopkeeper. This might be a big company like Aldi, or it might be one person who owns a small shop. And these people have got to make some money as well. So there's lots and lots of people who have to make their money from this process. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the people like Fancho, the independent farmers, get a good amount of money for their work. So if you buy Fairtrade bananas, if you buy bananas with that black and blue and green Fairtrade logo, then the people who grow the fruit are guaranteed a minimum price which covers the costs of growing the bananas. And they also get extra money called the Fairtrade premium. So groups of farmers decide together how to spend this extra money to improve their communities and their farming. And that means it's all fair. So now if the farmer gets a fair price for the bananas, they can cover their running costs. Fancho can pay his bills, make sure his children go to school, and save for the future. And thanks to the fair trade premium, he's got water pipes and fertilizer, so his farm produces more bananas. So some people say fair trade means that people have to pay more in the shops, and they say, I'm not paying fair trade because it means that it's going to cost more. Sometimes things do cost a little bit more, but these are pennies. If everybody pays just a few pennies more, then people like Fancho will get given the right money for the work. It means that Fancho can carry on farming and can look after his family. So if a banana isn't fair trade, then does it mean the farmer didn't make enough money to provide for their family? And the answer is not necessarily no. Not all farmers are paid badly. But fair trade does just guarantee that the farmers receive at least a fair trade minimum price. So should we pay a little bit more for fair trade bananas if we know that farmers will get the right amount of money? Or should we pay for fair trade chocolate or fair trade coffee? Well, choosing fair trade makes a huge difference to the people who put in so much work to grow our food. It means they get the right amount of money, and it's fair because they've put in all of that work to grow the bananas for us. So should we pay them the right amount? What do you think? There you go. Talk to your friends. Have a think as a class. Should we pay farmers a fair price for the work that they do? I think so. I buy fair trade bananas when I go shopping. I buy fair trade chocolate. I buy fair trade coffee when I drink my coffee, which I do lots. Because it's important when we go back to those global goals, responsible consumption and production, to make sure that people get given the right amount of food. Now, I think I've got one ripe banana on this bunch. Final fact, because like I say, you can do this with your banana. Did you know that when monkeys eat bananas, they don't peel the top bit there, they put their fingernail in there and pull that bit, and then they peel the banana that way. That's how a monkey eats a banana. Bye-bye.